into modeling chocolate and like melting chocolate into like molds and stuff like that. And so we went out one night and we came back, and the bags of chocolate that was filled with melting chocolate that were about a pound each were completely empty. The nozzles of the bottles that had melted chocolate on them had been opened and had been chewed on. And honestly, my first thought was that it was actually my stepfather who had eaten all the chocolate. And so me and my mom were kind of pissed. But turns out it was the dog. But anyway, he was okay. He was totally fine. He was a little lethargic afterwards, but we kept an eye on him and made sure that he was okay. And he ended up living a long and prosperous life after that. But honestly, I think it mostly had to do with his weight and the fact that he was what we call an Amish garbage disposal. That dog could literally eat anything.
Wasn't he a golden retriever? So he's kind of a big dog.
Yeah, he was a big golden retriever, and so obviously it's going to depend on how big the dog is. It's going to depend on sometimes it could even depend on the breed, because I've noticed that golden retrievers can actually kind of ingest things a little bit easier than other dogs. But honestly, if one of my Jack Russells has eaten that much chocolate, I don't know if they would survive, to be completely honest.
So some of the issues that you wind up getting if dogs wind up finding large amounts of chocolate is there's possible of them having tremors, seizures, internal bleeding, and even heart attacks. So it's definitely one of those things where you need to keep an eye on your dog if you think he's been eating.
Sounds like what happens when I have chocolate. I get the tremors. I need my chocolate.
That's your chocolate addiction.
Oh, is that what that is?
I think so.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Anyway, the next one on our list, it's actually really specific to these nuts, because most nuts are fairly good for your dogs. Yeah. It's these ones specific. It's walnuts, pecans, almonds, macadamia nuts,
and pistachio nuts. I thought we were going to do like a whole like kid show thing. Like let's do it again, okay? Walnuts, pecans. Come on, do it with me. Almonds, macadamia nuts,
and pistachio nuts.
I almost read that as Pikachu nuts. Don't eat Pikachu nuts either.
Anyway, these specific nuts have a very high fat content, and so you'll notice with like people that are trying to lose weight, you'll hear some of them saying, don't eat walnuts if you're trying to lose weight. Don't eat pecans. Don't eat almonds. Because it is a really high fat content in them.
One thing about almonds, though, if you are trying to lose weight, I know completely off topic of dogs, but almonds actually do curb cravings. But
probably because of that reason.
Yeah. But I mean, like if you're going to eat almonds, do it in small amounts, because you can definitely overdo it on almonds, and they can end up actually making you fat.
Exactly.
Because of how high fat content they have in them.
And the things that they can do is they can induce vomiting in dogs, diarrhea in dogs.
That goes back to that whole dehydration thing.
Exactly. And one of the things, like, I've seen a dog depressed, but this one can actually induce depression onto a dog's.
If you've ever seen a dog, little puppy dog, depressed, it is the saddest thing. Don't do that to your dog. Don't give them these nuts, because it will make them lethargic. It'll make them sad. Just kind of like with the... if your dog's not feeling well in general, they tend to be a little bit lethargic. So take that as a cue that your dog's not feeling good. Don't give them this stuff anymore. Don't, if you do see them acting lethargic, maybe do take into account what you've been feeding them, take into account what their diet is, what they may have eaten, because that is definitely a big cue if a dog is not feeling good. And that can be seen as under the description of a symptom, lethargic. And what that means is they just look really down and depressed, and they're not really uppity and willing to jump around and play with you, and they just kind of want to stay and lay down, and, that's what lethargic means.
Exactly. So, the next one on our list is alcohol. Now, some of us that like to party, or just even like to have a beer every once in a while, we'll know that our livers can process it a lot better than dogs.
But if your dog's an alcoholic,
but we can process it.
Yeah, if your dog's an alcoholic, send them to AA immediately, please. My dog, we joke around that my dog is actually an alcoholic, because he does this with coffee and he does this with beer, and I don't know if it's the frothiness of it, but because we froth our coffee with the milk,
Yeah.
and so he will go up and he'll try to sneak it and he'll try to lap up as much as he can, and so we joke around that he's an alcoholic.
Well, what it probably is like he's smelling it. It's that sensor thing, because like if we smell something and think it's good or awesome, dogs can smell these and think it's heaven. It's like the best
they
thing
have
ever.
a lot stronger sense
As a
of
matter of
smell
fact,
than
one of the strangest things is that dogs love the wheat or smell of wheat. Smell of beer is that wheat smell.
And some people can argue that wheat is actually very bad for dogs. So you could almost argue that your dog is like has celiac disease. But like I said, some people can argue. It's debatable.
Yeah.
I say that because Tim was yelling at me earlier.
I wasn't yelling at you. I
Like,
was saying that's
Heather-
not quite
Heather
true.
Jane, that's debatable. I don't know if I would say that.
Well,
That's not quite true, Heather.
It isn't quite true. I mean, yes, sometimes
That's
your
why I
dogs
say it could be
do
argued.
wind up getting that celiac,
Uh-huh.
and they can't process
Well,
wheat.
certainly. Dogs
But
can get
it-
celiac disease, but like this is debatable if you could relate to all dogs having a
Exactly,
form of
like
celiac disease.
not all dogs do, and I think I've mentioned it before in one of my previous episodes about dog food and that is that sometimes dogs just can't process wheats and
Yeah.
oats and that,
Yeah, for
and so you have to go with like a rice base, which still a lot of dog foods wind up going with a rice base
Yeah.
rather than
If
wheat or oats or barley.
For instance, I have to really watch what I feed Godiva because she has very, very sensitive skin. And sometimes when she eats those foods that are more high in wheat than the wheat substitutes, is she gets really bad rashes on her inner legs, and because her skin is just so soft and sensitive.
Anyway, the reason why actually alcohol is bad is more because the alcohol content. Depending on the drink, sometimes it has a higher content than that. And like I said, dogs' livers can't really process it that well. Dogs' livers can process it, but not
Not
well.
large quantities. It's not well. It's like if you look at a human alcoholic, it's like that's the damage that it could do for a dog that with minor amounts.
Exactly, and with these alcoholic drinks, where do you put them? You put them on your
Like,
coffee
you have a
table. You put them
party,
on.
and everybody's got Solo cups everywhere, and you got a dog, and your dog just goes up. Oh, it's a Solo cup with liquid in it. I'm gonna lap it up.
Exactly.
I'm thirsty.
It's not thinking straight when it comes
Yeah,
to
you
that.
have to. You gotta watch your dogs sometimes like they're toddlers.
This next one that's on our list is kind of surprising. For me, anyway.
Yeah,
I didn't really know much about it, and I had to do my research on this. But
And I actually had a pretty bad experience with this. So
the next one is garlic and onions, and the reason why these garlic and onions. How many times can I say garlic on this one?
Garlic and onions, garlic and onions, garlic and onions, garlic and onions, garlic
Anyway.
and onions, garlic and onions, garlic and onions, garlic and onions, garlic and onions.
Are you going to
Youngins,
just continue on that?
garlics and youngins?
Anyway, these plants are known as alluminum or alums.
Aluminium?
Alums.
No, just alums. Alums.
Alums can damage the dog's red blood cells, so it actually causes liver damage
Yeah,
to
they
these
can end
dogs.
up toxifying your dog's liver, which, if that doesn't sound scary, I don't know what does.
Yeah, it's worse than alcohol when it comes to the dogs.
Yeah, it's a lot worse than if you were ingesting alcohol.
Now, I know in some foods there are very trace amounts of garlic and onions, and this is just fine in these dog foods. It
In
uses
trace
that
amounts.
as kind of like a flavoring. So that's why it's very, very trace amounts of these. And it's not poisonous. It's not going to harm your dog's liver or anything. So if you're looking on the bag and it says
Onions
like
and
onion
garlic
powder or garlic powder, don't worry. That's perfectly normal.
Yeah. So Tim, let me tell you what happened with my dogs with this. So I had brought home a plate of onion rings from a restaurant that I had just been at for my roommate. And I told them to make sure that they put them away, which, by the way, they hadn't touched this plate of onion rings at all, so that can give you an idea of how much my dog actually ate. So, of course, my dog ate the entire plate of onion rings because they're tasty, they're food. Of course your dog is going to eat it. And I woke up in the middle of the night. Yeah, exactly. I woke up in the middle of the night and this entire plate was gone. And I feared for my dog's life, but I took a few steps and I took a few steps that I believe, honestly, if I hadn't done, I believe that these steps, they save their lives. I honestly do. And we'll go into a little bit about if the same thing happens to you and your dog, what you can do, what steps you can take to potentially save your dog's life.
Well, that process can also work with chocolate as well.
Yes. Almost, I mean, this
almost
can,
everything.
So, yeah, the process can pretty much work with almost anything that they ingest that is not going to lodge themselves. Like, if it's something that's creating a blockage, it's not really going to help.
You'll usually go to, like, the Heimlich maneuver for dogs or something like that. So the next one on our list is corn kernels. Now, you'll know that cornmeal is in a lot of dog foods, and especially, like, really cheap dog foods like Pedigree or generic brand dog foods. Cornmeal isn't really the best for dogs. Cornmeal tends to fatten up everything. Humans, dogs, cows. As a matter of fact, that's kind of one of the bigger reasons to have cows eat cornmeal, is so that they can beef them up quickly.
And not only that, but I mean, I might be getting a little political here, but a lot of the corn in the United States is severely genetically modified, and so I don't want that going into my dog.
I don't want GMOs.
I don't want GMOs. I'm gluten intolerant. People are gluten intolerant. I'm just saying. I'm just gonna shut up. I'm done.
No, but what I'm more talking about is corn kernels. Now, you know, if you eat corn kernels and you go and you use the bathroom...
So no popcorn? No popcorn for dogs?
No. This would be under that same process, why you don't feed them this.
What about, like, cooked or, like, mashed up corn?
Probably not. If it's kernels, like you've mashed up kernels and that, you don't want that in their system. Because kernels... Even humans can't process kernels that well. Like I said, if you go to the bathroom, you're going to see it in the stool.
That's gross.
I know, it's very gross.
Like the stool that you're sitting on?
No, as in your poo-poo.
No, your poo-poo. Okay, that's gross. Grody.
That's what stool stands for.
I think the dogs might need to go out. It said poo-poo when they looked up.
Yeah,
that's
didn't
right,
you?
Godiva.
We'll get you guys out here in a minute.
We'll get you out in a minute.
But the problem with dogs is that they can actually cause intestinal obstruction, which some of the things that you can notice when that's happening is your dog might vomit or will dry heave or even become lethargic in that sense.
Because when your dog vomits, and even when humans vomit, that's the body's way of trying to get rid of whatever is being rejected in their body.
Purging,
exactly. Your body's rejecting whatever it is that just went into it, and they're trying to get rid of it.
The next one on our list is blue cheese. Now,
blue cheese.
If it's fresh blue cheese...
I love me some blue cheese.
Just don't worry about it. I love blue cheese, too.
I like me some blue cheese.
What do you like blue cheese on?
I like blue cheese on everything. Everything.
Blue cheese gumbo.
I like me some blue cheese gumbo.
Blue cheese stew.
I like me some blue cheese with the little chicken wings.
Salad.
Some salad.
Pizza.
Some pizza.
I love different pizza and
some
blue
ice
cheese.
Cream. Like me some ice cream.
Okay, that's like drawing the line here.
You don't like blue cheese on your ice cream?
Once you're mixing blue cheese with something that sweet, no.
What do you think? You don't think blue cheese goes good with dairy products?
Blue cheese kind of is a dairy product.
Blue cheese and brownies.
Anyway, let's go. Let's get focused here.
No blue cheese and brownies?
Blue cheese and brownies.
Okay,
anyway, what I'm talking about is more of over-ripened blue cheese. And how you can tell your blue cheese is like over-ripened is blue cheese will have this marbleization to it. It'll have kind of like these veins running through it.
That sounds gross. I don't know about you, but I think anything that has the term, the attribute veiny in it, I do not want to eat. That just sounds disgusting. So
you don't like eating cows?
No.
Because cows have veins.
I like eating cows.
Chickens have veins.
You know what, Byron? Tim? You know what, Tim? I said nothing.
You said nothing. Anyway, when blue cheese is overripe, then you'll see like big chunks, not even veins, but just kind of like chunks
like huge
of blue stuff through it. What's in there is what's called Roquefortine.
Roquefortine.
And I think I'm misspelling it here. If you guys want to know, or not spelling, mispronouncing
Yeah,
it.
you are mispronouncing. It's pronounced Roquefortian. That's how you pronounce it.
I don't think it's that what it is.
Roquefortian. It's Roquefortian.